Welcome to the Overland Sea podcast. Today we're talking about the Nottingham Forest game that happened on Saturday evening. Andrew, great result to a certain degree. The performance though, not the performance I think I can safely say we were both expecting. Talk to me, what were your thoughts on it?
We were just slow. It's us against a team playing a bit of a low block and struggling, like it has been all season. And it's games like that that make you think, how do we ever have a good performance? Because surely teams just know this by now. Like, surely they're just aware that if they sit back, we really struggle.
But is that not, do you think certain teams can't play a low block? I mean, I know that sounds silly because all you have to do is, you get your back four sorted, you get your midfield four sorted with no space in between the two lines, and surely that you counter attack, which we have been susceptible to throughout this season. And ironically, that's how Forest beat us at home in September.
I think there's a certain element of certain teams just are against doing it and wouldn't do it against us. Like, there's no way City are going to do it at home against us and just sit back and counter attack. They're going to try and take the game to us because that's kind of who they are, and similar with Arsenal. Um, but it's really worked for the teams that are generally lower in the division than than the big boys that sort of seem to take us on. So
That is the traditional way, though, isn't it? You would say that normally teams in the lower half, definitely the bottom quarter of the league, would play a low block
yeah,
against bigger teams, though.
yeah, just depends. Certain teams have certain weaknesses, don't they? And I think so. There's definitely the times where Man City, before Pep really got going, were relatively easy to catch on the ball. People wouldn't play a low block because they'd try and harry the centre backs that weren't quite as good as the ones they've got now. So it massively depends. Sometimes teams are just going through an awkward transition phase where they're trying to play this style, and it's worthwhile changing your tactics slightly. But yeah, I don't. I just think more teams could have done it against us this season and done better than they did.
Absolutely, and I'd be really worried to see what where we would be in the league if that was the case. Um, I think we'd be fighting a relegation battle if I'm brutally honest. Um, Talk to me about the goals. Start off. Well, talk to me however you want to go with the goals. By the way, I completely agree with your comment on just being too slow. I felt like we were in gear two and sometimes gear three for most of that game. Um, and we gave Forest the opportunity to press us whenever we wanted to. Um, it was not an easy watch by any means. Especially as we could still get sixth, which I think is actually quite impressive, all things considered. I know we had a disagreement on that in the pre-game, but I questioned throughout that game. I was questioning more the mentality of the team as a whole because it's like, well, what was said in before they went out to the pitch and what was definitely said at half time, because it just felt like there was no real purpose to how we wanted to play. I mean, the Mudryk goal was brilliant. It was a great pass by Cole Palmer, and a lovely finish by Mudryk. And I thought once that happened, I thought we'd settle and we'd find our rhythm, but we just didn't. We allowed Forest back into the game, and then going in at what 2-1 down. I think we went in. Yeah, I think we went in half time 2-1 down. And they scored the second goal of the second half. I can't remember. I was just wanting to get to the end of the half. I just wanted us to get back into that changing room and for Poch to sort of say something or do something because something needed to change. I don't think that change really came until the 63rd minute when we made those subs. Um, and I'm glad it did, but it took a long time for it to happen. So yeah, what were your thoughts on all the goals?
So yeah, first goal was incredible. It was Cole Palmer doing Cole Palmer things, and Mudryk's managed to get on the end of it, and he's done a few of those this season. So that's one of his strengths, I guess. Very disappointed with their first goal.
The set piece.
Yeah, Jackson just stopped running.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't have a
He,
good game.
he
He
did it
did not have
earlier
a
in the
good game.
game as well.
Say again?
He did it earlier in the game as well. He just ran away from Yates, who had a free header in the box. But
Yeah.
I think again we look dodgy at set pieces.
Well, we're always going to be dodgy if you're not going to track your man. He
Yeah,
half does it.
I think that's generous as well, to be honest.
What, that he half does it?
Yeah,
Yeah, fair.
I think he did 2 steps and was like, "Oh no, don't fancy it."
He just completely stops. It's ridiculous.
Hudson-Odoi's goal was quite good. He tried a few of those, and finally one came off for him. I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, and he was up for it. He said he was up. He was up for playing against Chelsea. He wanted to score against Chelsea.
Yeah, he always was going to be. And then Sterling scored almost the same goal at the other end. It's a very Sterling thing.
What? Where has that been?
Don't know. Sometimes he just decides that he's going to do it. I mean, realistically, that's all he's got to his game, and I think that he's better at that than one-on-ones. He doesn't have to think about what he's doing. All he has to do is just cut inside and kick it.
Yeah, but he doesn't normally. That's what I'm saying. I get the whole cutting inside part of his game, absolutely. But this time round, he didn't stutter. You know, for me, it was actually quite a smooth transition from cutting inside. You know, took a touch and then he just buried it. Whereas normally, I find that he tries to take too many touches, stutters, doesn't look like he knows what he wants to do or what he's going to do, and then you have nothing's on.
Well, they said on the Chelsea commentary that Olorena wasn't really looking. He was trying to direct other Forest players on where to be. So I think he was out of position, and it just meant that Sterling didn't have to beat him at all because he just wasn't in the right place, which I think helped. And then great ball from Reece James, wonderful. I don't know all these Liverpool fans that are saying that Trent's so much better with the ball at his feet. Nope. I think Reece James is a world-class crosser of the ball. It's ridiculous.
Oh no, he's got a great shot on him. I mean, we haven't seen it over the last couple of seasons, but when he first came into the team and became a regular, you know, he was able to get decent shots off from outside the box or just inside the box as well. Obviously Trent's got the free kicks over him. I don't think they're too dissimilar with their deliveries, whether it's you know, a cross or a long ball across the side of the pitch, but not across into the box. Passing wise, I think, you know, they're both on par. And actually, at the end of the day, he's a better defender. So out of the two playing right back, I'm hands down, not even biased. As a right back, he's 100% ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold for me because he can actually defend.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show what.
Would agree with you.
Huh?
Gareth Southgate would agree with you.
Well, that's good because potentially he said that he wants to come on. Just on that note, apparently he's come out and said that he wants to be the Chelsea manager after the Euros. When he was already linked to United, it's a 50-50 thing right now with people saying this is true or not, because everyone's saying that he's supposed to be that Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants him at United. People are saying that that's not a step in the right direction, but apparently since then this week he's now come out and said that he'd like to be the Chelsea manager at the end of the Euros. Go figure. I think the only people
I just don't think that can be true. That's such a
I don't believe
thing to do and come out and say, and I just don't think he's that stupid.
He's not, because even Gary Neville said it as well. He said I don't think Gareth would sign up for Man United, and the reasons being, and the funny thing is they're the exact same reasons as to why he wouldn't do the Chelsea job, is because he's got to go to the Euros, so he's not going to be there for the preseason. He'll only have like a week with the team, I think, after the Euros, maybe two, before the preseason actually starts. So then he's got to do everything in that time. Plus, also, if he starts announcing that he's going to join a club after the Euros, it sends the Euros into disarray, and it creates like this big bubble before we've even started. He wouldn't want to do that either. He wouldn't want to do that to the club that he wants to join or the FA. And I thought Gary Neville hit the nail on the head with that one. So I'm not taking it with a pinch of salt either, but interesting comment. But I think it just goes to show with Reece James coming on and doing that. It just shows an aspect that we've not had for the vast majority of this season.
Yeah, I think he's one of our better players, and we've not had him all season. And I think we've been lucky with how good Malo Gusto's been
Yeah.
and how quickly he's adapted. Because if he had a Cucurella type season, when Cucurella's first season, you're going, fuck me, we're struggling here.
It would have been disastrous. It would have been
Yeah,
disastrous. I think they would have brought Chalobah back sooner. I still question how long he was actually injured for, because I don't think the club wanted to use him, because I think there was some bad blood from January with the whole Bayern Munich thing where he turned it down. I strongly believe in that, because he came back out of nowhere. But yeah, no, you are absolutely right. And also that's his 9th appearance this season, if I remember correctly. It's like 9 or 10. I think it's his 9th.
yeah,
And and also Nkunku came on, and I think that was his 9th appearance as well. So
and
was that his 10th? Yeah.
yeah,
So
and,
two of our best players have only, well, Nkunku's supposed to be one of our best players. We haven't seen enough of him to really prove that, but they've had 10 and 9 appearances. I mean, that's just fucking
Chilwell can't have had many more than that.
no. I think he's probably a bit further up, probably a bit closer to 20
Yeah,
at best.
15, 20.
Yeah.
That.
So it's we know the injury problems, but what I will say is a good finish by Jackson. I was really worried. I thought it looked like he was going to have another game like he did at home for us. I was like, this is not the moment to be fucking having
No,
another game like this, mate. Seriously, like everything he seemed to do just seemed a little bit off. I don't even think his running was as good or holding up the ball like we'd seen him in previous games recently. But what a finish.
I think I would put that away, to be honest.
Yeah.
Back myself on that one, yeah. If I was there, don't get me wrong, the game then would be
Sorry, boys. I was at home. Apologies.
no more than like running to keep up with Reece James to get to the position to head it in. But if I'm in that position, I get that chance, it's going in.
Well, look, I know it's a free header. It is a free header, but we've seen him with free headers before, completely missing. And but to be fair, it is a good header across from where the ball came into the far corner. No one was getting anywhere near it. I know the goalkeeper's off his line as well, but I still think it was a good finish, because knowing him, he could have easily fucked that up. Let's face it. Knowing him, he could have easily have butchered it.
Yeah, yeah. But he kept his nerve and he slotted one home for us.
What else did you think about the game? Any other points that we haven't really talked about?
I don't know. When was the last game that we played? Because I was thinking, like, oh man, they look a bit tired. Maybe they're not. I feel like we had a week's rest, didn't we? And we actually looked better when we played twice a week.
I think we did. I think we pretty much did. I think we either played Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, we played Sunday, I think.
Yeah, we did, because we were out. We played Sunday because it was bank holiday weekend. No, it wasn't the bank holiday weekend. Was it? Oh, I can't remember. It was definitely Sunday because you and I went out drinking.
Yeah, Sunday. We was playing on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just look tired, and I just don't, and lethargic, and I don't really get it. But maybe it's just like end of the season, we're not really playing for much.
I disagree. I really disagree with this, because I generally think there's a strong possibility that we get sixth and we will get Europa League.
Is there a strong possibility?
Mate, we're now, because of the Brighton Newcastle game, they drew. We're now on the same points as Newcastle, but obviously they're ahead of us on goal difference. Newcastle play United at United on Wednesday, the same day that we're playing Brighton. And
Yeah, but
if they draw and we win, we go above Newcastle and we're sixth.
I mean,
And then we've got Bournemouth on the last day of the season.
Okay, United's last results, last three results anyway. Drew 1-1 at home against Burnley.
Yeah.
Relegated Burnley. Lost 4-0 against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And lost 1-0 against Arsenal.
Well, there's improvement there.
Yeah, I mean, Casemiro's been getting absolutely slammed left, right, and centre for
but quite rightly so. I honestly think it was a poor decision by the club. This is the guy's in his mid-30s. He's used to playing with absolute world-class stars. He's come over there. He did well. He's on 350K a week. And he's then realised, look at who I'm playing with. And he's just gone, fuck it, I reckon. I think he's just gone, don't need this. I'm being paid for 4 years. 4-year contract, 350K a week.
Well, that's what happens when you sign someone for 60 mil. You need to pay him.
Exactly.
Crazy.
It was a bad bit of business. They should have signed him for 2 years.
And him at centre back is not a great idea either. But they're just going through a period now where specifically one position they've got a lot of problems in.
Yeah. But I still think I'm not holding my breath, but I still think that they could. It's their last home game of the season. I still think they could potentially get a draw.
Okay.
Because a lot of those players are going to be playing for their futures now.
I think they are. I think they're playing for the manager's future. They don't particularly like him.
I think the manager's done, but a lot of those players have a lot of questions around them. I mean, there's now reports saying that Rooney said it and Graham Souness has said it, that they've heard from people within Man United that there are players that can play and they're basically just refusing to play, and therefore they're staying on the injured list. Now, I don't care who you are. There will be certain people, and I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe is probably one of those people where he won't tolerate that kind of BS. So
I didn't hear that they knew. I heard that was his opinion, that he thinks that players are doing that. I didn't.
Rooney said that Rooney might have said it was his opinion
Hmm.
because he said he's seen it before.
Yeah.
Graham Souness came out on Talksport and he said, "No, I know, because there is somebody at United that's told him." And he said, "I'm not going to tell you who it is because obviously that's just fucking stupid, and I'm going to be letting somebody down by doing that, by disclosing that information." But he said it's known. There are players there that are refusing to play, which that doesn't look good on anybody.
No.
So, I think there's very few players in the world that could get away with that kind of attitude. But yeah, enough about Man United. They are falling apart, as is their stadium. Did you see those images?
What was that? Was that the rain, or was that just like a water hydrant or something? What
That's the
was it?
rain.
Was it?
Are you talking about the roof, or are you talking about the stairs in the stand?
The stairs, and it was just like flooded.
No, mate, it was coming down from the ceiling across some of the boxes and just trickling down the stairs.
Oh, fuck.
And people have been saying it for ages. People have been saying it for the last couple of years that stadium is falling apart. And then obviously because the rain was so bad up north yesterday, it really showed.
Yeah.
It's
I know Gary Neville was talking about it.
He has talked about it before.
Ages.
Yeah, he has been. But I don't think people realise the severity of the situation until these images, which is quite damning. But yeah. Listen, overall, going back to our game, I think it's a great result. It's what we needed. I have question marks of the performance, and I really hope we do something different against Brighton and then obviously Bournemouth on the last day of the season. Because also we don't know if
it's good
Poch
to
is
be the other
staying
way
or not.
around, though.
Huh?
I mean, half the season we've had decent enough performances and gone on to lose games. I'd rather it this way round. I'd rather
Oh, no,
watch
absolutely. No,
shit than
absolutely.
lose
I'm
it.
not taking anything away from the win. I'm not taking anything away from the goals. But what I am saying is I even read before we came on to do this that if we do get Europa Conference, obviously we might not meet the financial fair play rules. We've been through that. You've got to record 35 million loss over a season to play in that league. But they're also saying that so basically what they're saying is if we refuse to play, then it might cause problems for us moving forward in other seasons. But then also if we do play it, we can get fined and all this other stuff. So I don't really know what's going to happen there, but I do think that the obviously the high that we finish, and if we do get a Europa League spot, I'm not saying it solves all of our problems, but I think it settles a couple of opinions down, and actually just goes to show how far we've improved as a squad, especially when we've had on average 9 players injured every game, which has probably changed now because we've got less injuries, but we've not had many competition for places for that reason. You know, it's a young squad. I think it just settles a few things down a little bit, takes a little bit of pressure off everybody, which I think is very important moving into the next season. And if Poch does only have 2 seasons, a 2-year contract, he may as well do the second one, because I don't think we can afford to get rid of him and then pay to bring someone else in, because there aren't many managers that are actually available. So you then have to
I
pay.
think we're actually a spot where there's quite a few available.
Yeah, but do we really want them? Will they really do anything different?
I don't think the ones that we'd want would cut.
There you go. And that's exactly it. I just think you got to give him another season.
Yeah.
You can't we can't base it on this season where it is pretty much a brand new squad. We've had the sort of some of the most senior players out injured for most of the season. The man that was supposed to lead the front line has been out all season bar 10 games. You know, I think it's really harsh to judge him on this season. I think it's
Yeah,
really
I wouldn't
harsh.
change. Like, I wouldn't change at all. I think even if his contract came up this season, I would probably sign him up for another year, just because I don't think there's a better option out there for us.
And he's clearly built relationships with some of these players. You can see the
Yeah.
improvements that have been made. So yeah. Right, with that, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification button, and stay tuned for the pre-game analysis of Brighton away.